This hummingbird is etched into the floor of the Nazca Desert with incredible precision. It is part of a vast collection of distinct biomorphs, animal and plant figures like this geometric spider, spread across the arid plateau. These figures are dwarfed by the landscape surrounding them. The site covers 450 square kilometers, containing more than 1,300 kilometers of combined lines. End to end, that is the distance from New York to Chicago. The global scale of these etchings went largely unnoticed until the 1930s, when commercial aviation allowed passengers to see the desert from thousands of feet up. That specific method of discovery immediately biased our interpretation. Because we found them from the sky, we assumed the ancient Nazca people designed them specifically to be seen from above. We projected our own modern need for flight onto the past, assuming that if we needed an airplane to see the whole picture, the creators must have possessed a similar aerial perspective. This logical BAP allowed 20th century pseudo-archaeology to flourish. In the 1960s, author Erich von Däniken popularized the ancient astronaut theory to explain the site's origin. He pointed to these massive, flat trapezoids and claimed they were landing strips for extraterrestrial spacecraft. This interpretation treats the desert as a two-dimensional canvas. The Nazca people actually built a three-dimensional environment intended for physical use. To understand the site, we have to reject the view from the clouds and look at the desert from the perspective of the people who walked it. Constructing these lines required no advanced technology. The desert is covered in a thin layer of dark iron oxide-coated pebbles. By removing this top layer, they exposed the light-colored, high-contrast sand underneath. Archaeological experiments have proven that small teams using only simple string and wooden ranging poles could construct even the largest figures in a matter of days. The reason for this effort was survival. Between 500 BCE and 500 CE, this region underwent severe aridification, becoming one of the driest places on the planet. From the ground, these intersecting straight lines and trapezoids reveal their identity as a functional network of communal clearings. In a landscape receiving only minutes of rain per year, organizing the community to clear these vast tracts of desert was a coordinated act of societal resilience. Systematic field studies identify the straight lines as processional pathways and the trapezoids as gathering spaces used during communal rainmaking rituals. The soil inside these lines is heavily compacted, providing hard physical evidence that thousands of people walked these routes over several centuries. Archaeologists found offerings left along the paths, including spondylus shells. These shells, from warm Pacific waters, were sacred symbols in Andean water cults. Our understanding of how these paths were used is expanding. Recently, researchers used AI and drone mapping to discover hundreds of smaller, relief-type geoglyphs. These new figures were drawn on slopes immediately adjacent to the ancient pathways. This specific placement suggests the lines functioned as an ancient communication network, with the figures acting as markers for travelers walking between settlements in different valleys. Evidence shows the Nazca lines are a vast, sacred infrastructure built by a highly organized society. Alien theories ignore this human achievement. Projecting modern technological obsessions onto ancient sites strips indigenous peoples of their ingenuity and agency. The reality of Nazca is found in humans uniting to map their survival onto the Earth. They use geometry and collective labor to face an unforgiving environment. Ultimately, the complexity of this desert landscape can only be understood by honoring the footsteps of the people who actually lived and walked there.